welcome to a rather flaccid edition of Turbocast 7. I think the Doctor and I are both on a fairly low ebb today, but we'll try our very best to bring the noise as usual. Good evening, Doctor, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Simon.
Good, let's just do a bit of administration before we start. As ever, you can find all your Turbocast-related news and contact details at turbocast.podbean.com. You can send question, comments and feedback to turbocast@live.co.uk. Please remember to dig the Turbocast and leave us reviews on iTunes.
Can I just butt in there?
Go for it.
Do you know that thing they used to keep going on about did we get any iTunes stuff? Have we got any yet? Or?
I haven't looked, I'm afraid.
All right.
I did one to test that it was possible to leave an iTunes review, and it is.
So it is actually possible. All right. Okay.
If I can get access to another iTunes account, I'm going to do an explanatory video of how to do it.
Excellent.
So on the subject of videos, I think in Turbocast 2, we had a message from long-time friend of the Turbocast, Leach, asking us to describe Trollope mix. So we go the extra mile for our listeners here. So we actually reconstructed the exact procedure for making the famous Trollope mix, and it's now a 3-part video special on YouTube. So that and all of Dr. Brownell's original music can be enjoyed at youtube.com/GoReady. I think we're very, very happy with how the cooking video turned out.
Yeah, big respect to Beef Wellington.
Yeah, he's getting respect, big ups, props, he's getting everything.
Yeah, and a kiss.
So, got a pretty exciting show for you tonight. Some lot of good content and digestion news. There's been quite a bit going on there. We've got a slight twist on an old favourite when Bullshit or Not becomes Finger My Bullshit. Then we're going to take a look in the diary for everybody's favourite, Dr. Brownell's Day-to-Day from years ago. And finally, we have a turbo sack that's absolutely bulging, and we may not get through everything, but we'll certainly try.
I just was wondering there why you sounded so muffled.
Yeah.
And I've got headphones on, and I shouldn't have them on, so I'm going to take those off.
Right. Dr. Brownell has removed the headphones. Yeah.
I thought there was something wrong, I thought this is slightly different to normal, and
there you go, you were disoriented.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off with digestion news. Do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah, by all means.
All right.
Away.
Mine's not strictly indigestion related, but it does pertain to the digestive tract. So when did we do Turbocast 6? It was over a month ago, wasn't it? It's been a long time due to various things going on.
Yeah, it must be all of a month.
Well, shortly after that, I had to go to the Gare de Midi in Brussels and pick somebody up from a Eurostar train that was arriving in Brussels.
What's that for our...
Gare de Midi just means South Station.
All right.
You've been there. It's a big train station.
Oh, yes, I have, yeah.
There you go.
It was all right inside, and as you got outside, it wasn't as nice.
No. It's, to sum it up in video game terms, it's a Mirror's Edge inside and Call of Duty 2 Modern Warfare outside. So, anyway, now, the thing with Eurostar is you can't actually go on the platform to greet the arriving train from London. So there's a chamber that runs parallel to the platform but separated from it by a giant glass wall.
I just got sick in my mouth.
The story gets better, so...
Sorry, go on.
So, now, for the purposes of the story, I have to go into some detail about this place where you wait. It's quite a big room, maybe 40 or 50 metres long, 10 metres wide, and very high ceiling, 3 or 4 metres high. And it's all concrete or ceramic tiles. There isn't an ounce of anechoic material in this room. And there was 2 people in there waiting. It was me and a young girl, and I could tell she was English, or at least could read English, because she was reading an English copy of Catch-22.
How young? Oh, so she was legal.
Yeah, 18, 19.
Yeah, sorry.
So, now, there's no seating or anything in this large chamber, but there's some hard steps. So, I just sat on the steps and I was waiting for the person I was going to pick up. And I sort of eased my weight to slip one out. But it was a shatteringly loud fart that echoed in this chamber. Now, to her credit, she didn't look up from her book, but she had to have heard it.
Yeah.
So you tell me what you would have done, and I'll tell you what I did.
I'd have probably said, pick the bones out of that one.
So what I did was, when this horrible ripping sound emitted, I got my phone out of my pocket and said, "Hello."
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
I don't think she bought it.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to come in with something, unrelated there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Tesco this evening, and I go to Tesco on a Monday, and I love Tesco. Anyway, I went to the checkout, and I was shoving on me. Anyway, I went to the checkout, and I was shoving on me gear on the conveyor belt, and the woman, when I finished putting it all on, there was nobody behind me. It was quite quiet actually for a Monday evening. The lady said, "Could you pull the barrier thing back? Because you're my last one. I'm going home after you." So when I worked out how to do it, I pulled it back. Anyway, because I'm a Tesco professional shopper,
yeah,
all me, I had my bags ready and everything, packed it brilliantly. She probably, must have got through quicker, and there was this guy came along with the basket, and he was like looking around for like a checkout where there was nobody there, and he looked at this woman, and she said, "Oh yeah, you can come over here," even though I'd pulled the barrier across. And she looked at me, and she said, "Oh, you didn't take as long as I expected."
Yeah.
And and I was like straight in there. I said, "You're not the first lady to say that to me, baby."
Did she laugh?
Oh yeah, she was very amused. Yeah. So it was just like coming up with you saying answering your phone. I thought that fitted in quite nicely with that. So I was really pleased with that.
Yeah, she'll have gone home and told her husband.
It was obviously a lie.
Yeah.
But But if you'd say anything for the comedy, don't you?
Absolutely. I find myself going out of my way to eat things that will make me ill now, just for the purposes of podcasting.
Well, like I say, I've just got a bit of sickle in my mouth then, and I'm just trying to think what I've had since I've come in from work, and nothing too. I had 2 slices of toast with Brussels. Is it Brussels patty?
Could be.
But it was in the rotten counter, and it did taste a bit strange. So I ate that really quickly.
Are you a frequent shopper at the rotten counter?
Yes. Yeah.
What's it really called?
I don't know. They don't like to publicise it too much. It's sort of out the way, but just where they get rid of all the rotten food, and they love it in there, like flies round shit. So I had that, and then I had 8 duck spring rolls. Oh, they were very rich, with a large bowl of assorted green vegetables in a rich butter.
Oh God! But I think we know from bitter experience that duck with anything is generally asking for trouble. I think none of us will forget the Jarzul duck from the Indian in a herring.
Ooh, nasty. I don't know, maybe it was... I ate a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was leftovers, and, I had like garlic bread with 2 different sorts of cheese on it, with jalapenos on it as well. And I think I've laid, a foundation for sick in the mouth today.
Yeah, just for the listeners' benefit, Dr. Brownhill is twisting his features into an awful grimace as he relays this. So, any other digestion news?
Yeah, one from a what? Can you turn your mobiles off, please?
Yeah, it's the studio audience.
Yeah, it's one that happened a while back, and I would have forgotten about completely if I hadn't sent email about it. So I'll just read the email.
I think, as we've discovered on previous podcasts, Dr. Brownell has little to no short-term memory. So if we do get a breaking digestion news alert, he emails it to me so we can preserve it for posterity in podcasting.
And then I'll say what's happened to me over the line. Anyway, here we go. Just eaten a jar of octopuses in thick oil.
Can I just stop you there?
Yes.
I want to congratulate you on not stooping to the intellectual vanity of saying
Octopi.
Yeah, because octopus is a Greek word, not Latin.
Yeah, well, obviously.
So it should be octopodes.
All right. Anyway. Just eaten a jar of octopuses in thick oil for my lunch. Feel quite sick and have sharp pains on right-hand side. Neil in our office, that's his real name, Neil in our office said he would pay Mark, a.k.a. Tom Cruise, 20 quid if he ate one octopus. Money was on the table, so there was a £20 note on the table, and Tom couldn't even get it near his mouth.
Oh, weak. Very, very weak.
Yeah, so that's a poor show, Tom. I'm going to try and sort myself out by eating a full fresh pineapple, which I did.
Right, there's a number of questions here.
Yeah.
Let me break it down. Number one, where does one buy a jar of octopi, octopuses, octopodes?
There was this special display in Tesco of...
Not the rotten counter.
No, it was near the rotten counter, but it was like a display of strange foods.
Yeah.
It must have been... It must be a delicacy in some, Portugal or Spain or somewhere like that.
Mediterranean.
Yeah, and I think there was all Mediterranean shit, olives in shit,
Yeah, traditional Greek dish there, olives and shit.
Yeah, so obviously I thought, octopuses, I'll have some of that because I like to
How
eat.
big are they? I mean, are the whole like octopuses in a jar? Or just its tentacles chopped off?
No, there's like little... I think they cut the eyes and like where the brain out.
Beak.
Yeah, but there's like a bit of body with legs coming off it, so it still looks like an octopus.
Yeah.
With all the suckers, and tentacles and all that.
And they're in a brine solution.
It was like tar. I'm not really sure what it was, but it was like really oily black stuff.
I feel ill just thinking about it.
I've also had from Tesco's a tin of squid in squid ink.
Yeah.
They were interesting. But yeah, that's
So using your hands, how big were these octopuses?
Well, it was just like a standard size jar.
All right.
Like you'd get a jar of pickled onions in or something. Just a normal jar.
The fucking octopus can be very big.
Yeah, these were little octopuses. I wouldn't like to say they were baby octopuses.
No.
Just a smaller variety, old probably.
Yeah.
Had a good life, But there was maybe eight in the jar.
Yeah.
There was some like really little.
How ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, Mark couldn't face one.
And why is Mark called Tom Cruise?
I've not done this one before.
Possibly I've forgotten.
He says that when he walks down Stockton High Street, it makes him feel like Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, we talked about this in Turbocast 1.
Yeah. So there you go.
Now, last question.
Sorry, I'm not quite finished.
Go on.
When I'd finished, there was some little odd bits left in the bottom of the jar.
Like an odd tentacle.
Yeah, and some bits that you couldn't really tell what they were. So I went to the kitchen and obviously cleaned the jar out and put it in the special sharps bin. But I kept all the little bits and put them in a paper towel and put them in my drawer at work and kept them for a day, and then threw them at people the day after when they were really smelly.
Great work. Yeah. So my last question is, did eating the full fresh pineapple have the hoped for restorative effect?
Yeah, it definitely did help, yeah.
Like the acid must have broken it down a bit.
I believe pineapple is very good for the digestion, it'll really help get things going. So yeah, it was very good.
I'm not a big fan of pineapple. I don't like how you sometimes get that little woody bit on the end of the pineapple chunk.
like the sharp bit.
Yeah.
That's. But obviously, I had a full one there, and I was cutting it, and I cut it right.
Control of the situation.
Yeah. I also have to put my knife back in the top drawer. I'll have to leave my knife on the desk at all. Health and safety.
Really?
I've been told, can you please put your fruit knife in the top drawer when you're not using it?
Who's told you that?
I can't say.
Right.
I've got to be careful.
Yeah, that does surprise me. If somebody told me to put a fruit knife in the top drawer, I'd be tempted to tell them to get fucked.
Yeah, anyway. There
Amazing.
You go. I respected that, and...
wear your high-vis vest while you cut your pineapple up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no wonder this country's on its fucking knees, is it?
I can't say too much.
Yeah. Any other digestion news? What was the garlic incident?
Garlic?
Yeah, you were asking me before the show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I went round to my special lady friend, girlfriend, special persons.
Stop there if I was you.
She's giving me listen to this, and I'll get shit. But anyway, I'm not going to say anymore. Anyway, you know what I mean.
I do, yeah.
And sick of having takeaway, so we're having she got loads of things, about 500 different things that you put in the oven, and you dip in stuff,
Oh yeah.
Chickeny bits, prawny bits, ribs, fucking everything.
Yeah.
And she said bring some dip round. So I thought, being, master chef, I'll just make my own dip.
Really?
Yeah.
Impressive.
So I can't, I don't want to give up the secret of me secret special dip, maybe sometime in the future, but I used a little cup to mix it in, and I put 8 cloves of fresh garlic in it.
Right. I'm no master chef, but that sounds like a lot to me.
Yeah. I put garlic powder in it, and the sort of garlic paste out of a tube.
So that's 3 forms of garlic so far.
Yeah. There was Hellman's mayonnaise, a full red onion.
I don't want to cast any aspersions on your master chef ability. This sounds absolutely fucking revolting.
What else was there? Lots of pepper,
Yeah.
salt. It was actually low salt, you got to be careful.
Well, cooking's all about delicate flavours and subtle shades, isn't it?
Yeah. Did I say pepper? Loads of pepper and a good squirt of Heinz tomato sauce.
Awesome.
Just to take, a little bit of sweetness in there,
So what did it taste like?
I
Garlic?
thought it was fantastic. And I scoffed the lot. Just great big globs of it, on everything. And I was really impressed with it. But I think I only realised how potent it was when I saw my ex-wife the next day, and she nearly fell over when I went near her. She said, "Oh my God, garlic!" It was like I'd used some sort of garlic spray on her. She was really, thrown by it.
I don't want to get indelicate, but she would have a reasonably high tolerance for the various orders that you emit due to long familiarity.
Yeah.
So if she was strong enough for her to start shouting garlic, then it must have been potent.
Yeah, it must have been. There you go. I mean, I had, I wish I didn't have to be careful with what I said. Talking with somebody that I used to know some time ago in some capacity, we talked about a sexual act that involves, a transfer of fluids. And I was told that you can actually taste, it's actually flavoured by what you ingest.
Well, I've heard that too. And in a similar but more unlikely vein, I had a cousin who worked in Japan, and he reported that there's a brothel in Japan where the women eat nothing but strawberries for 6 months or 6 weeks. and then you can go there and eat their crap, which tastes of strawberries.
Yeah, really?
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I can imagine it wouldn't taste like a strawberry.
no, it's not going to be a Wall's strawberry mivvy.
Yeah.
It's going to have a little bit of an edge to it. Right? I think it would be almost inescapable that there'd be a hint of strawberry there.
You'd have thought so. I mean, where's the matter's got to come from?
Absolutely. It can only
somewhere.
come from one source.
Yeah. Having said that, rotten milk tastes nothing like milk.
Mm.
So, beware.
On that happy note,
That was fabulous.
any more digestion news?
No, but I'm going to make more of a conscious effort before the next one. I mean, obviously, Christmas time it's going to be, there's going to be indigestion, all around. It's what Christmas is all about, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking that we'd probably do one more Turbocast just before Christmas, a Christmas special, and I was going to have a digestion news retrospective of all of our great Christmas indigestion episodes.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the recording machine over here, and there's some big spikes.
Uh-huh.
It's rather worrying.
Is it on my track or yours?
I think it's on mine.
All right. I'm sure.
I'll have to stop shouting.
Well, when you're talking about your triple garlic dip, it's obviously
Well, yeah, you're going to get excited, aren't you?
Can we just ask you to document this, and we'll put the recipe for Dr. Brownhill's triple garlic dip on the website?
Yeah, by all means.
If somebody wants to replicate it, I'm sure they'll enjoy it enormously as they get carted off to hospital. So, this is the part of the show where we'd normally do bullshit or not, but we're going to change it up a little bit today. It's a new segment called Finger My Bullshit, and I've prepared 3 news stories, and Dr. Brownhill is going to use his keen powers of perception and deduction to guess which one of the stories I fabricated.
Do you mean deduce?
Yes. So...
Oh, was that part of the funniness?
Yeah, you stepped on the bit, you
Did
fucker.
I?
Yeah.
I'm a daft twat.
Anyway, so just to recap, 3 stories, 2 absolutely true, 1 absolutely made up. So the doctor will decide.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
He's pretty stupid, though, so, don't hope for too much.
Well, I think there's a species of low animal cunning there that I think will sniff out the faults.
Feral.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Right. Now, this story features a subject that's very, very close to your heart. So I was absolutely delighted when I found it. Chris Hunt eats Monster Munch snacks for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and is so obsessed with them he changed his name by deed poll to Mr. Monster Munch. So that's first name Monster, surname Munch. But he's not.
I was going to say at least it's better than cunt.
Yeah. But he's not as mad as you think. He does at least eat a different flavour for each meal. He munches on pickled onion Monster Munch to start the day, has a roast beef Monster Munch sarnie for lunch, and the flamin' hot variety of the corn snack for his evening meal. The zany name change was the result of a dare by his friends. Needless to say, they were somewhat taken aback when the 26-year-old from Evington, Leicestershire, actually went through with it. They looked at me like I was nuts and dared me to change my name. I don't think they thought I would go through with it, but I now demand to be called either Monster or Mr. Munch. In Mr. Munch's eyes, Monster Munch crisps can do no wrong. He added, I just can't get enough of them. I love all the flavours, but admit roast beef is a particular favourite. I used to eat just 3 bags of roast beef a day, but I decided I needed a bit of variety in my life, so I now vary the flavours between breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Well, I think that's quite dangerous, actually, because I could, talk for an hour on that one.
Yeah, you could do a Monster Munch themed podcast.
Yeah, there's just so much there, I'd love to meet this guy, if he exists, obviously.
Because he's your personal hero.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good, but I'd love to know what he had to say about the way Monster Munch have changed over the years. Because I ate them as a small boy. I mean, obviously been going a while. And I can remember when I found a bag of pickled onion Monster Munch in my packed lunch that I used to take to school, my little face lit up,
I mean, I think we've discussed Monster Munch at some length before, and there's many things I don't like about them, but a couple of things that stand out apart from the horrible taste is the way you get dust all over your hands, and the way they pack down in your teeth to nothingness almost immediately. You know, when you bite a Monster Munch, it just sort of collapses and goes instantly into a paste.
Yeah, well, the original Monster Munch used to do that. It used to be really claggy and it'd sort of stick to your teeth. But then, however they changed the process of making them, they acquired a lightness and more of a fluffiness. And, you know, it was only with this, you know, the new old ones that came back, you know.
Oh, really? They brought out a...
Yeah. Bigger, and I don't know whether they're made of the same... They can't be made out of the same thing, but it's like the back, you know.
Yeah.
It's about stepping back in time. It was quite magical.
So yeah, I knew you'd like that one.
That's great, but it does remind me of another story of I think it was in the Sun that I saw it, of a gentleman that lived on bacon sarnies. That's all he ate.
Yeah.
You know, that's all he ate. And it actually started around Christmas time. And he was adamant he didn't want a Christmas dinner.
So he had a bacon sandwich.
He was saying, "Oh, you know, Mama, I don't like Christmas dinner." She said, "Oh, what would you really like?" And he said, "Oh, bacon sarnie." And then from that day onwards, he only ate bacon sarnies, and they've done all tests on him.
Yeah.
You know, cholesterol and all that stuff, and he's fit as a lot. There's nothing wrong with him living on bacon sarnies. Well, and that is true.
I mean, a bacon... If you grilled the bacon, it would be quite lean. So I don't think the fat and hence liver function would be too much of an issue. I would say where he's... I mean, there's plenty of carbohydrates in the bread. I would say where he's possibly...
Tomato sauce, that would... You know, there's a lot of nutrients in that.
Yeah, my big question mark would have been vitamins. I mean, I would have thought he'd develop fucking scurvy or rickets or pellagra or something.
Well, like I say, if he has tomato sauce on it, then he's getting vitamin C, and because I believe the tomato is the only food that you can live on. It's got everything you need in it, apparently, because it's got a little bit of fibre in the little green thing at the top, and vitamin C, and apparently, I think my dad might have told me that. So
sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
So this brings us on. I don't want to interrupt Finger My Bullshit for too long, but it does bring up an interesting side question for me.
Yeah.
If you could only eat one food, what would it be, and how long do you think you could eat it for? So it's a voluntary program. You're only going to get one item of food.
Yeah.
And you've got to eat that item of food as long as you can. So what's the food, and how long could you eat it?
That's an interesting question, that.
Because anything too vivid or rich, you're not going to be able to stomach it for very long.
Can you have it in different formats?
I don't know, because I've just made the question up, so I'm not quite sure of
the
boundaries.
Because I'm saying, obviously, you could say potatoes, and you could have mashed potato chips.
I think you're gaming the system there.
Yeah, I'm just, just feeling the question out. I don't know. I mean, and does it have to be one food rather than, like a meal, you mean? Because, you could say like a full English or something, or a Sunday dinner, or...
I'd say it can be a meal, but it has to be exactly the same every time. So no, you can't like a full English and have the sausage one day and the bacon the next. It's exactly the same meal. So over and over again till you can't eat it anymore, or you die.
God, that's a tough question. I'm going through the things that I that I've eaten really regularly. I used to have Upex pies and microwave chips for my lunch every day for a long, long time.
Yeah, but you weren't eating them morning, noon, and night.
No, I'm just trying to think of things that I've eaten.
Well, I've got mine ready, so I'll give you mine.
Go on then.
Mine would be Kellogg's cornflakes, and I reckon I could do a month.
Yeah, just eating them.
Yeah, till some sort of nutrition-related medical disorder set in.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts exploding into my head. I mean, when you say that, it makes me think of crunchy nut cornflakes.
Yeah, they're too sweet to eat.
Yeah. I don't know, I'd like to... Strangely enough, I'd like to say bacon sarnies.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I don't eat much bacon these days. I absolutely love bacon on white bread, on like white, soft, doughy bread with Lurpak butter and the bread sort of, shapes itself around the bacon.
And how long do you think you'd eat just bacon sandwiches for?
Well, do you mean how long could I stand seeing another bacon sarnie, or when do you think I'd die from it?
Well, it's either way. 'Cause either way, the game's over. Whether you throw the towel.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to say a long time, but probably 2 or 3 weeks. It's too much of a good thing, isn't it?
I think you'd break mentally before you broke physically.
You'd probably in reality, it'd probably be something quite bland, like you've gone for, that you could, that's not, really tasty, because I think, that would start to get to you quite quickly. I'm sure a lot of people would say chocolate, I think.
I couldn't do that.
No.
I do like chocolate bar.
Mm.
Anyway.
Weetabix.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to eat wheat. We used to love Weetabix. Used to eat a lot of it for like different meals as well. Mm.
There you go. Interesting question. So I think, is bacon sarnie your final answer? It doesn't really matter, 'cause you're not going to fucking go and do it.
Well, you never know. Maybe
a YouTube video in the making, time-lapse photography of you.
Tomatoes. I'll tell you what. I'll try strawberries, and you can eat some of me shit, and we can, say once and for all if it tastes like a.
No thanks. So anyway, back to Finger My Bullshit. 3 stories, 2 true, 1 not. We've had the guy from Leicestershire change his name to Mr. Monster Munch. So now we're off for our final 2 stories, the home of all our favourite bizarre news stories, China. So, second story. Man has world's strongest finger. Fu Bingley, who has been studying martial arts for 32 years since the age of just 7, scooped the Guinness World Record on Monday for completing 12 press-ups on one finger of his right hand. I've been training since I was 7 years old, and my index finger has as much strength in it as most people's entire body, said Fu with masterful understatement. Fu, of Liang Yungang, eastern China, also claims that he can stand upside down supporting himself on just one finger. So, what?
I've had quite an interesting sort of, obviously strength and, that sort of thing. I've seen plenty of people doing press-ups on 2 fingers, 2 single.
Plenty of one-handed press-ups.
Oh, yeah, that's now that, yeah. But still, on one finger, I've seen people doing plenty with, one finger from each hand. Was it, which finger did you say it was? The index?
Yeah,
Peter
index finger of
Pointer.
his right hand.
And you said he stood on his... He was...
I feel he's rather gilding the lily with this addition, but he's saying he can stand upside down supporting himself on just a single finger. So I assume that means on his head and one finger.
On his head and one finger.
Because obviously he couldn't just stand upside down on one. Well, maybe he can.
Well, I suppose you could do it briefly if you did a sort of, cartwheel affair. You could, while you're at the top of the arc sort of thing. You probably know the proper word for that.
Apogee.
Yeah. They made really good games, didn't they? I don't know.
There is a picture that went with this, so I'll describe the picture.
Yeah.
He is doing the press-up on one finger, dressed in the traditional Kung Fu garb, and the finger in question, the final knuckle, is bent over at 90 degrees to the rest of his hand. So, like, his finger goes straight down, and then the final knuckle on his index finger sticks out like a little foot on the bottom. So I think he's completely dislocated the finger at some point, and it's become like a little foot.
Oh God, I've just gone off the scale on the. That's interesting. I don't know. I haven't got much to say about it.
Right. Well, I'll give
you I don't know. Finger. It's an unusual thing, isn't it? Finger strength.
If we've learned anything doing the Turbocast, it's that pretty much anything can happen in China.
Yeah, I mean, you said you saw a picture of this guy. I mean, he will have been like a stick, no doubt.
Yeah, he just looked like an old Chinese dude, even though he's in his 40s.
Yeah, because obviously, if you've got a very low body weight.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Bruce Lee. I mean, he must have been about 6 stone.
Mm.
You know, and I bet he probably could have done something like that.
Right, I'll give you the final story.
Yeah.
Another one from China. Ivan the Terrible. But that's exactly what this martial arts enthusiast is doing as he pulls a vehicle along with a rope connected to his eye sockets. This demonstration of his eyes pulling power happened during a performance in Hefei in China's Anhui province. It's not entirely clear how far he managed to pull the van or how his eyes felt about the whole affair. So there's another picture with this one that I'll describe.
Yeah.
And he appears to have some sort of... I can describe it as 2 flat plastic hooks that he seems to hook into his eye sockets, lean backwards and pull the van.
Yeah.
So in all of the respects, his eyes are normal or blind, and he does have eyeballs.
Yeah.
But he had these 2 flat plastic hooks in his eye sockets. So like, I'm just miming it now, but you can't.
Yeah.
So there you go, Doctor. Finger my bullshit.
I mean, that sounds pretty horrible. But hang on, I'm just going to try and stick my fingers inside my eye sockets here. God, that's so difficult. So, are you telling me you've made one of those up?
Yeah.
It's not one you found and sort of doctored or anything, or
Nope.
you've made one up.
Yep.
Oh God. Is there a prize?
Yeah, the respect of the listeners.
Well, I think it'd be funny if I got it wrong, actually. So I might get it wrong on purpose, everybody.
Yeah, for comedic effect.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing in there that sets the alarm bells going like we used to get before. I mean, they could all easily be true.
Like the Russian kid with the Quran on his skin, that was obviously rubbish.
Yeah. So I mean, they're all
vaguely plausible.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just worries me that like they got 2 of a sort of eye socket man and finger man. I'd like to see the finger man stick his finger in eye socket man's, stick his finger into his eye socket and.
Well,
yeah, he pulls with his finger, and the eye socket man pulls back.
While Mr. Monster Munch pelts them with pickled onion monster munch.
I'm going to go for bullshit. Is Mr. Monster Munch?
I'm afraid that's incorrect. That is actually true.
You know why I said it? Not because I thought it was dafter than the others, just because of his real name,
Chris Hunt.
Yeah, I thought there was a you'd given me a very tiny little crumb of a clue in there.
No, the bullshit one was
Finger Man.
No, it was the Eye Man.
Was it? I suppose it was the most stupid, but anyway, I suppose if I got it right every time, it wouldn't be much fun. So anyway, I'm not playing anymore. Come up with something different next week.
Yes,
Scrap that.
Next time, I think bullshit or not will be back. Right. Everybody's favourite part of the show.
Is it time for the diary?
It is. It's time for Dr. Brownell's day-to-day from years ago for December the 7th.
God, I've really missed this.
Doctor, open the diary.
Right, I've got the diary in my hand. I just want to say before I open it that I just wonder if I ever might come across something that I couldn't read out.
Well,
did we discuss this?
No, we didn't.
It just makes, I mean, is there anything in here that I wouldn't read out?
I don't know, but I think the guiding principle has to be that, you're generous enough to share the diary.
Come to your microphone, Simon.
So, excuse me. You're generous enough to share the diary with us, and therefore it's completely up to you to set the boundary of what's good content and what isn't. So I think if there's ever something you don't feel is appropriate, we pass over it and nothing's said.
I think the only way... I don't think there's anything in there that I wouldn't say about myself. The only way I wouldn't be able to say something is if it was about somebody else that might, cause them, embarrassment. It'd have to be pretty, brutal, I think. Right, anyway, I'm opening the diary now. God, this is so exciting.
December 7th.
Right. Oh, there's an extra bit of paper in there. That's December the 4th, though we can't read that.
Keep turning. Maybe we'll hit that next year.
December 79. Bugger.
The diary is...
The last diary was... It can't be... It was Cakehead, wasn't it?
Yeah, Cakehead gave me a porno mag.
Oh, it can't be better than that.
Tomorrow...
My feet are going numb. Oh, Jesus. Can we get some better chairs? Right, here we go, folks. December the 7th, 1977. It was raining today, so we did not play football. Today I wrote... Today I wrote a play called Bank Bust something. Oh, shit.
Later adapted for film by Martin Scorsese.
And the gang was called... Oh, a play called Bank Bust. All right. And the gang was called Greasy Joe and the Chips.
Oh, God.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do.
So that was 1977 off to a flying start.
I think, as it's a play...
Microphone, Simon. We're not...
If you can go into the Turbocast archives and recover the original manuscript of Bank Bust, we could possibly perform it as the Turbocast pantomime for Christmas.
I'd be very, very surprised if that still exists.
Right.
From 1977. Obviously, with the later things, the poetry and that, it's from the
right.
Tunstall days.
So this would have been from when you were at junior school. 77 must have been, yeah.
Yeah, it'll have been my last...
All right, so it's possible that
10, yeah.
This hasn't survived in the Turbocast archives.
Which,
is a tragedy. Bank Bust is lost forever.
Brilliant.
Greasy Joe and the Chips.
Right, here we go, 1978. Today I watched George and Mildred. Top of the Pops, Mastermind, and The Sweeney. I've done Sweeney in capitals and really bold. If you'd like to have a look at that, Simon.
Oh. So watching The Sweeney was obviously quite a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Get your trousers on, you're nicked.
Yeah. I was of school today, and my mum said, I cannot go to school tomorrow because I am not better yet.
No information on the condition.
No. That's rather strange.
Mm.
You can't go, you're not better yet. How does she know what I'm going to be like?
Well, I would think, from what I can remember, my mother in particular was, you had to have a gunshot wound to the head before you could have a day off school. And I seem to remember your mother was slightly more compassionate, but not much. So it must have been a fairly serious illness to get 2 days off.
I have to say, Sam, my eyes strayed to December 8th.
Really?
1978.
Yeah.
Should I read it now?
If you feel it's appropriate.
Well,
it is breaking the covenant of the journal, but if it's gold, let's have it.
It's not gold. No, it's just it's about being off school. I just wanted to know what happened.
Okay.
Just wanted to know what happened at the end of the story.
Let's preserve the narrative arc and read what happened the next day.
Today I was of school again. Capital letters bold. I won't read the rest.
Okay.
It's good, but I'm not going to read it.
All right. Preserve the covenant of the journal.
Yeah. Anyway, 1979. I went to the main school office, but they did not have my pencil case.
Bastards.
I got 97 out of... At first it says 97 out of 100, but then I've crossed out 100 and put 150. I got 97 out of 150 in maths, but got... Oh, Rut. I think that's you.
Hey.
I think it's Rut got 110. Highest was 130. Lowest, about 45. It says both girls.
What the highest?
Also, yes, I assume that means the highest and the lowest were girls.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know what the relevance of that was, but
Well, I think you were groping toward a theory that girls occupy the remote ends of the bell curve when it comes to mathematical ability.
yeah, I was going to say something about bells then, but I couldn't come up with anything good. Right, 1980. I have done no homework all weekend.
So, the 97 out of 150 days are behind you now.
And I know I'm a stupid bastard.
I think there's a very, very commendable level of self-awareness there.
So, I know I'm a stupid bastard, but I just can't force myself. I'm becoming lazy. Snap out of it, Reedy, before you're too late.
That's quite poignant.
The snow was very deep. We were sliding up and down the front road.
That's quite heartfelt, that, isn't it?
Yeah, chastising myself in my diary. Oh, God. 1981. When I got out of bed, my watch said 8:50, and I shit myself. But the time was really much, much earlier. I was still dead late for school. Mars has got... oh, God. Mars has got something... rig.
Rig?
A J80 or something rig put away at something Tandy's for me. CB, yeah.
It must be a CB
yeah,
radio.
Yeah. She has put a £10. There's a little star somewhere there. That must relate to something. Where does the star go? She has put a £10 star. Oh shit, I hope there's not a bit of paper that's supposed to go with that.
I think we've lost one of the...
Oh, sorry, hang on. Put a 10... Twig from Buy Rights and SWR and Power Supply from something. Are you going to help me out at all with that, Sam?
Let's have a look.
1981.
Got me a J80 rig, put away Tandy's.
Hang on, I'm just going to get some...
She has got a... Ah, yeah, then there goes a twig from Buyride and SWR and Power Supply from Dixon's.
Ah, Dixon's, alright.
There we go. It's like the fucking Da Vinci Code. It's been decoded.
Oh, God.
The diary never, ever fails to deliver
Jesus.
comedy gold.
One of these times, there's just going to be 5 blank, surely. But I mean... oh, God. I'm reeling.
Yeah.
I'm closing the diary, folks.
I mean, that particular set of diary entries added all the agony and ecstasy, didn't it? It had Greasy Joe and the Chips and the self-chastisement.
The shows of the day, and then CB's coming in. And
so, another awesome set of diary entries there. So now we're going to take a look in the turbo sack and do some of your letters and questions. First message comes to me via Facebook from long-time friend of the Turbocast, Penny from Los Angeles.
Hi, Pen.
She says, can the Turbocast fellows tell me what kind of car to get for my daughter? Yes, she'll be eligible to start driving on May 15th. I'm leaning towards a Scion or Element, boxy, ugly, non-sexy, and sleds. Right. So a bit of background here. The girl in question's a pretty cool chica, so I think she needs...
What does that mean?
Just girl.
All right.
But she's from Southern California, so hence
yeah.
chica. I would say no to the Scion Other Element, which are basically plastic boxes on wheels.
Hmm.
And I would say the intelligent choice is the new 2010 Ford Fiesta, which is available in the US market for the first time next year.
Right. My first comment would be, as she's a lady,
Yeah.
probably the best sort would be to get one without an engine. Probably the safest option.
Right, I'm sure she'll... not a lot of use to her, but...
Seriously though, folks. I don't know, a little Fiesta or something.
Yeah, I think... don't get a prize.
Do they have courses over there?
No. Fiesta's really the first of the small European front-wheel drive cars to be sold in the US market.
What was your first car, Simon?
My first car was a Renault 5.
Was it silver?
Yes.
Oh, it was awful.
It was £800.
Bloody hell, that's a lot.
Yeah. It had a reasonably low mileage, I think, which is why I paid so much for it.
It was so sloppy, it just used to lean over and it was awful. Wasn't it?
It
Oh,
wasn't.
you probably thought at the time it was the best thing ever. I'm sure I did.
It wasn't an uplifting driving experience. It had some things in its favour. It was, even though it was a compact car, it was very, very big inside. It had a lot of interior space and it was quite comfortable. But
Yeah, I remember it being quite comfortable.
mechanically, a bit of a disaster.
My first car was a Datsun 100A
I remember
in
it well.
blue. And I remember the gear stick. It was like a straw with a walnut on the top of it. That wasn't strange. My enduring memory of it is driving up to Elwick, driving up to yours, and driving back in it. Datsun 100A. Yeah.
Because I remember, I have quite fond memories of my Renault 5 because I drove it for about. I didn't have it for that long.
Yeah.
But I think I had it for about 6 months, and then I went travelling, and it was just sat in the garage of my parents' house for about 2 years and never moved.
Uh-huh.
And I came back, put a new battery in, it started first time.
Excellent.
And
Can't this young lady get a motorised scooter?
a little bit dangerous in LA traffic, I'd say.
Is it? Oh, well.
Oh, the scooter would be a good call. A little Vespa.
Yeah.
One of the new 254-stroke Vespas would be...
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Turbocast recommendations are a Vespa or a Fiesta.
Yeah, definitely.
So...
And don't use your bloody mobile phone while you're driving.
Perfectly legal in California.
Is it?
Absolutely. It used to be. It was last year. It may just have changed. But
That's insane.
obviously it's all about personal responsibility. You know, if you on your phone and you mow down a bus queue, then you pay the price for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question from...
Well, please let us know, though. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, let's see some pictures of whatever car she gets.
Yeah.
In fact, here we go. If she gets a car, I'll send her a Turbocast sticker. Even though no such thing exists, I will have some made and send her one.
Excellent.
Right. Next question from Turbocast superfan Mel
Hi, Mel.
in Canada. How did you two meet?
What part of Canada's Mel from? Do you know?
Calgary, Alberta. Snows a lot.
Oh, I love snow. Can you send me some, please? Do they speak English there?
Yeah, they only speak French in Quebec.
Oh, cool.
Although the whole of Canada is ostensibly bilingual, but it's patchily observed.
That's great. Do continue, Simon.
So, it's a bit of a long story, but I believe we've known each other for a very, very long time. I would say getting on for 40 years, even though we are only in our 40s. So the way it started was our fathers worked together at Ready Mix, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were two like-minded misanthropic curmudgeons who became friends. and both with young families, and hence the two families became friends. And my first recollection of a meeting with Dr. Brownhill would be when he was in his father's car outside my house, and I was taken out by my father and introduced to this other Simon. So that's my... And this was...
So did they actually... Were we like tots?
Oh yeah,
when they met?
Yeah.
They didn't know each other when we were born?
No.
All right.
I don't think. I might have to ask my dad and get clarification on this. But it would have been very, very early 70s.
Right. Ah, right. Because I did hear a rumour that you were named after me.
Well, possibly, but I
might have just made that up.
I don't think they knew each other then.
Alex, I always tell everybody we've known each other since we were babies, you see, but I've never, obviously it's lost in the mists of time. I'm sure they'll remember, they'll know exactly.
Yeah. According to my mother, I'm named after Simon Templar.
Well, so am I.
Well, that's probably like the biggest TV show in the world at the time. That's why there's millions of Simons.
From that?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's like every Australian in his 40s is called Shane because of the film.
Right.
But I will seek clarification on that matter.
I think we need a bit more detail in there.
And if I can get my shit together, I will take audio recording facilities to my parents' house and interview my parents about it.
I hope you're taking notes of all these things you're going to do, car stickers and, audio things and,
I'm like Tony Blair. I'm very good at sketching out the vision. I'm not so good on delivery.
Yeah. Very good.
So, last question is from Teresa, and I thought Teresa was an acquaintance of Dr. Brownhill, but he's now denying everything, so we have no idea who you are.
That doesn't mean I don't know her, obviously.
Yeah. So if you could follow up with a little bit of background on yourself, Teresa, that would be fantastic. And she
Photos.
Said, yeah. Can you do any impressions?
No.
Right. I can bust out a few for you. I can do Frank Butcher from EastEnders. Come on, babe, this pub's my life.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's only really applicable to our British listeners. So all of mine are from British TV shows. So for all our global audience, I can only apologise.
Just make it really short.
I can do Jim McDonald from Coronation Street, who was a wheelchair-bound ex-soldier and wife-beater. I'll not stand for it, Liz, I won't.
I think that's even better. Yeah.
And finally, I can do Super Hands from The Peep Show. Fucking hell, Jez. This crack's Moorish.
Very good. Yeah.
So those are the three I can do.
A ripple of applause there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I'm sorry.
Nothing?
I've got absolutely nothing.
You can't even do Elvis?
No. All I can say, in the spirit of, your bullshit is I'll practice one for next time, I'll do a really great one, folks, okay?
Right, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
So, that's another Turbocast in the can.
Fantastic.
Sorry. One last thing. We did get another email asking us to detail our dream Top of the Pops lineup. So the 6 songs we'd most like to see on an episode of Top of the Pops, but we haven't had time to work on that.
Who's that from? Any name associated with that?
I don't have the email in front of me. It was nobody I'd ever heard of.
All right.
So I didn't know them. I'll add this to the long list of things we probably won't do.
Hang on, I'll just... We're still, good for time if you want to kick it about a bit. Or keep it fresh, I'm easy.
I would quite like to go it in a structured manner.
Right, okay.
I want to finish on something that was a number one. And I don't know if something I pick off the top of my head would have actually been a number one.
Right, we'll get our shit together for next time.
Right. The next one will be the Turbocast Christmas special. And we do hope to do a Cooking with the Turbocast Christmas special, a Castaway Christmas, schedules permitting.
My mouth is watering, Simon, the prospect of that. So have you got any ideas for the Christmas special then? Is there anything, can you leak a little bit out for the fans?
Well, I think we're going to do a Christmas digestive news retrospective of great Christmas dinners we've enjoyed and illnesses we've had at Christmas. I'm sure you've got a lot to contribute on that front.
I always go out on Christmas Eve drink far too much, then it's like a tightrope walk the next day trying to get me Christmas dinner down and keep it down. That's pretty much the same every year.
So,
I've never spewed up on Christmas Day as far as I can remember. So I don't think I can, get any more than that. It's pretty.
Well, I can remember a couple of incidents which I will use to seed your memory for next time from letters you've written me when I lived in London.
I did.
So
I mean, we'll tell you this because it's not worth keeping just on its own. One year my throat was so sore I couldn't eat, and I had to sit at the dinner table with everyone else sipping iced water and watching everybody tuck into everything with a tear in my eye. It was actually, my throat was raw. I really couldn't eat anything. That was lovely.
What have you been doing?
I just had a sore throat.
Oh,
I had
right.
an infected throat. I tend to get sore throats, and it was really, I couldn't, it was fantastic.
Fabulous. So we'll see what we can do with that. We do have a lot of hope that we can do the Cooking with the Turbocast Christmas special video. A lot of scheduling things stand in the way of that, but we'll do our very best.
It would be great if we could do it.
So I think we may achieve it, but we may not get it up on YouTube for Christmas Day. I think there's
we're going to have to, tie Beef Wellington down again, aren't we?
Yeah, because the raw footage will have to go to the Turbocast multimedia production facilities in Southeast Asia, and it takes us at least 2 or 3 weeks to turn that around, but we'll do our best. So that's another Turbocast in the can. I invite you to dig the Turbocast, leave us a review, check the website, turbocast.podbean.com, send us any question, comments or feedback to turbocastlive.co.uk. Dr. Brownhill is now going to play us out with some live music with a track called Say It Again. Do you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a departure for me, sort of like, a heavy rock type thing. It's a track that it's not actually all my own work, this one. It's a collaboration between me and my good friend Gordon Bennison.
Right.
He's a cracking guy. Knows a lot about music and all that shit. And we did the song together, and I think it's pretty groovy, and I think you're going to like it.
All right, Dr. Brownhill and Gordon, turn it up to 11. Night, everybody.
I've never felt like this before.
spinning.